Okay, here we are on the flip side, and let's have at it. I did want to thank everybody, by the way, who has expressed interest and concern and thoughts in terms of my pinched nerve. It is something I'm continuing to battle with, and it just without getting into all of my personal physical idiosyncrasies. I was born with two vertebrae in the lower part of my neck that have always been fairly close together. Never caused a problem until a short time ago when age and posture and a few other things are catching up with me. So I have a portable neck traction device, which I'm expecting to arrive within the hour, that I hope will help. And actually fired up the hot tub for the first time in a couple of years in our backyard. So we'll see if that can get some things going. No solid answers yet. It affects my right arm and a couple of my fingers, and my upper back and my shoulder. But that's there are many more challenges in life than this. So I'm not going to bitch about it. Excuse the expression. A whole lot. I want to go back to a couple of recent comments that have addressed the market changes lately. Received an email from a trader last night mentioned that he had a tough April. And of course, there was a comment recently that told me to stop my whining and just adapt to the volatility or adapt to the change in the market, I should say. And it's interesting in a way because a lot of people come into this blog and they see the last 10 months of my trading life, much of which or part of which anyway has been during a rather volatile time. But please keep in mind I've done this for a pretty long time, and I've sat through flat periods, I've sat through volatile periods, I've sat through a lot of different kinds of markets, so you're seeing a 10-month snapshot so far here, but obviously there's much more beyond that. I never documented it day by day in the fashion that I am here. I could certainly learn to be a really great range trader. I could learn that. I'm convinced I could. I'm convinced I could do well. And I still normally make money during those periods. I don't have a problem in the long run with that. But I know what I excel at. I know my strengths. I know myself well enough to know that I can certainly position to make money in any market, and usually will. But I know when I do well. I know when I need to press the accelerator. That's. I think that gets back to the idea of focus. That we all as traders have to find out who we are and stay focused on what we are trying to accomplish. And you've got to in my view, black everything else out. I mentioned some time ago the horses wear blinders for a reason when they're racing. It's certainly a little bit more difficult for me, perhaps, because of the increased exposure that the blog has gotten, and the more folks that have commented, and certainly I open myself up to criticism, and I certainly deserve that in terms of going public. It's one of the risks I take. I took that risk many years ago and accepted it and learned to deal with it, and it doesn't faze me in the least right now. I could have someone scream at me for thinking I'm the biggest egomaniac on the planet, or martyr, or telling me my strategy is all screwed up. I even again had a great discussion with a trader the other day, by the way, on the phone, who offered to share some of his insights in exchange for watching me trade for a few days and sharing some of his strategies and all that kind of thing. And I wanted to say this the right way. My response was, please understand, I appreciate the offer. But the worst thing that I or any other trader could do once they have this game figured out is to open their mind up to a different strategy. I don't trade flat markets and range markets very well. I make money at them, but I don't trade them very well. And I don't want to really. I use these periods as times to take a mental break. Just as people who don't trade volatile markets took a mental break last fall, and for them it might have been the best decision ever for them. Again, to the extent that I vent and bitch a little bit on the videos, it's therapeutic. It really is. I think we have to find ways to motivate ourselves. And I know I've said this before. How do you stay motivated? How do you keep yourself motivated in a business where most of us, or many of us, are doing this by ourselves, And even if we are doing this in a trading room, whether it's a virtual room online or whether it's a physical room, how do you still, excuse me, damn cats, how do you keep yourself mentally on target with what you want to accomplish and block out everybody else? It is very difficult, and I've certainly learned to do it over time. I think it takes a certain amount of confidence in one's ability. It certainly takes a track record to prove that you can do what you believe you can do. Um, you know, I keep the '08 results on the site. It's kind of hidden in the lower left hand corner where it says personal challenge, and I'll link to it every now and then. And you have to understand the only reason I do that, well, the primary reason I do that is so I can look back at it at times, and get that confidence boost. Or in the case of April, remind myself, and I looked at it again this morning, that not only was last April, not that great, as was the case for April '07, by the way, and April '06. Now I can go back years, but May and June weren't that great either. And when I get frustrated at myself or my performance or market rhythm changes, that's a way for myself to look back very easily and say, okay, don't sweat it. Look at the big picture. Look at the countdown clock. Keep things in true perspective. And that's why it's there. And again, if it helps others, great. If you think I'm posting it because, I want to say how great '08 was and I'll do that for the next 50 years, then, you're dead wrong. And I share this in a way so that, if you have a way to motivate yourself, again, how do we stay motivated as individuals when we're pretty much alone in this business? Even if you're in a room of traders, you're alone. And I think that may be one of the largest challenges that any of us will ever face in this business. And I don't have any magical answers, but I do the sports analogies. I'll use anybody who's critical of me publicly to use. I'll use that as bulletin board material. It kept me fired up last year. I had a lot of critics last year. I have some people that hate me in this industry. And I get that. I don't have a problem with that at all, believe me. But I'll use that as fuel. I will use that to generate income. And certainly that was the case for part of last year. Even if it's not real, even if someone's just venting and I'll use that as, well, I'll kind of show them. I think some traders may go on tilt when that happens. It happens to motivate me. It's just who I am. I mentioned, I think, many months ago of when I was a kid. I used to throw a tennis ball against our house, our garage, and I used to, pretend I was a pitcher, and I'd pretend I was in a certain game, and I mean, we've all done it to some extent, and if it didn't work out well, I'd wipe the slate clean, and I'd start again, and I'd do that all afternoon, and I was probably 8 or 9 years old at the time. It's kind of interesting because that really describes a trading session and multiple sessions where you give it your best and then you forget about it and you go at it the next day and that kind of thing. So I don't know how we all stay motivated as individuals. It's there's no one cure, one size fits all, despite what some of the magazines and books would have you believe. So anyway, I'm babbling. I am going to finally firm up this long-awaited Boston Bamboo date. It's likely going to be now probably closer to late June. It'll be nice to get the weather here a little bit. It's not going to be a listen to Don talk the whole time. It's just a chance for us to get together and kind of get to know one another a little bit better. Everybody is invited in terms of anyone who wants to fly in for it. It'll probably be attended by mostly by people in the New England area here. It'll be on the Cape. I'm trying to get a room secured actually right on the coast so we can have some fun. So again, I don't know if there'll be 5 people. I don't know if there'll be 50 people. I don't care. We'll have a good time. So thoughts for a weekend, 2 videos. Hope you liked it. Enjoy the weekend. Have a great week. May starts in earnest on Monday. Hang in there. Bye.